Hi everyone, Bill Lethman here for MoneyEvolution.com. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about budgeting for healthcare costs before age 65, before Medicare. Now, this continues to be one of the #1 concerns of people as they approach retirement, I think for very good reason. In fact, it's actually one of our 7 core elements of retirement planning as well. Fidelity actually does a really good study on this every year. This is one they did from April of this year, April 2018, and they said that a couple retiring today, age 65, could expect to spend $280,000 on healthcare costs over their lifetime. In fact, this doesn't even include long-term care. Notice I said at age 65, so this only includes Medicare. So what we're going to be talking about in today's video is actually the medical costs if you're planning on retiring before you become eligible for Medicare. And I think this is something that's one of the biggest aspects of retirement that might be under budgeted for a lot of people going into retirement. What are your options for healthcare costs before Medicare? Well, we have a couple of things. Number one is if you work for a company that currently offers you healthcare coverage, you could go to that company and find out if they have any way to extend that coverage for you into retirement. Hopefully they do. You also might have the option to do COBRA, which allows you to continue on that same plan for 18 months. So if you're planning on retiring, let's say at 63 and a half or later, that 18 months could get you through to the point where you become Medicare eligible. You could also look at your spouse's employer too. So if you have coverage and your spouse has coverage, maybe they have a plan, maybe it's better than yours, or maybe theirs allows for a continuation after retirement before age 65. And then ultimately, what I think a lot of people are going to end up doing is maybe going out into the health insurance marketplace. It's something that was created as part of the Affordable Care Act a couple of years ago. Fortunately, there's some really great tools out there. One of them is something from the Kaiser Family Foundation. It's the Health Insurance Marketplace Calculator. And if you're planning for retirement, trying to understand some of these costs, you could go to this website. We'll put a link down in the description below. You can click on that. You can put information in there about the state that you live in and your zip code, some information about your age and your spouse's age, and then it's going to come up with some options there for a silver, gold, or bronze plan and what that estimated cost is going to be. Now notice that this can change considerably from one area to another, from state to state, and even from zip code to zip code within a state. Those differences can be pretty tremendous. So make sure you actually put in your specific location, or if you're thinking about moving to a different state, you could put that state location in there too, and that might be a good motivation if you're thinking about moving to another state, especially if they have a lower healthcare cost. That could be another reason to make that change. So here's some information we pulled here just as the national average. So a 64-year-old non-smoker with a Affordable Care Act Silver plan will average about $13,438 per year. That's unfortunately not for a couple, that's per person. So this tells you, exactly how high some of these healthcare costs are and why a lot of people might be completely under budgeting that. This includes an out-of-pocket maximum of $7,900 a year. So there's still a lot of expenses that you could incur over and beyond just the premiums that you're paying on that. And this also may not include the co-pays that you have on prescription drugs as an example too. So the reason why I'm making this video today, I made one a couple of years ago, and JP Morgan does a really great study on this. They did one back in 2016. It was healthcare and retirement. It's a big white paper. It talks about Medicare. It also talks about these pre-Medicare costs for retirees. And at that time, they were saying that the same calculator came in at $8,420 for an ACA Silver plan for somebody 64 years old. So that's over a $5,000 increase in just a couple of years here. So again, we want to make sure that we're budgeting these things properly. So that was from 2016 to 2018. Fortunately, the increase for 2019 wasn't as big as what it was the last couple of years, but this is something that we definitely need to keep on our radar screen and be aware of here. So a couple of things about the Affordable Care Act. Again, we talked about it. The amount can vary widely from one state to another, zip code to zip code. As part of the rules of the Affordable Care Act, a 64-year-old can't be charged more than 3 times the amount of a 21-year-old. So that's good. That helps keep costs down a little bit lower for people as they get up in age. Tobacco use, if you're a smoker or tobacco user, that could cause your premium, of course, to be a little bit higher. They can't exclude you for pre-existing conditions, so that was probably one of the best things, in my opinion, of the Affordable Care Act and what that allows there to be able to go out and pick a plan And you may qualify for some subsidies as well. So what they're going to do is they're going to set those subsidies to 400% of what they say the federal poverty line is. And so I think for this year, that's going to be $48,560 for a single person, and for a couple, it's going to be $65,840. I think that's 2018 level. So if your income is under that, you may qualify for some subsidies that would bring those ACA premiums down there a little bit. So anyway, I hope this video has been helpful for you. I hope you got some good information out of this, putting together your plans for retirement. And again, check out some of the links that we'll have to some of these things we talked about here today in the description below. And if you'd like to learn a little bit more about what we do, some of the financial planning and the preparation for people getting ready for retirement, we'll have a link to our Wealth Vision Comprehensive Financial Plan below as well. So don't forget to hit that like or subscribe button, and I'll see you back in one of my next videos. Thanks.